So it was an interesting night. We were doing a walk me home Saturday night. They asked me to start early. They asked me to stay late. I did. And you know what? I'm going to calculate how much money that was I made. And I'm going to take that to Value World. All right. So I feel like my coach did a very clever thing tonight where they said, Heather, I don't want you to do the thing. I want you to do the other thing instead. And the belief was that the other associates would pick up what wasn't getting done, and they didn't. And when I left, it was a freaking disaster. And when management gets a look at that, their heads are going to be rolling. So I feel like maybe the people who need to see that I'm a good worker are actually seeing that. So that's good. Because I pray I am a good worker, and I try to be. I'm here to serve God, not man. And I believe that a good work ethic, a good attitude at work, all that stuff, is a good witness. And when I left, two of my associates were in the break room, Spanish-speaking ladies. They have, moderate English. One has moderate English, one's pretty fluent. And I told them a little joke about Ron, my deceased husband, and a Metrolift cab driver. And the slang Spanish word for male organ, male sex organ, and the word for tree is the word for tree. And it's also very similar to the word for hair. So we had a cab driver named Rosa. She was from Venezuela, and she was a very stylish lady. And one thing, she always had her hair done up beautifully. She dyed it red, interestingly enough. And she also had it permed and cut. And she picked us up one day, and she had clearly spent, $500-600 on her hair. And it was just beautiful. And I took Ron aside and I said, hey, Ron, you know what? It would be fun if the blind guy told her hair looked nice. And he said, okay. And he got in the cab and he thought to himself, I'm going to tell her in Spanish. So he told Rosa, hey, Rosa, I like your tree in Spanish. But she didn't take that well. She started cussing. I have heard a lot of Spanish profanity, but I have never apparently heard Venezuelan profanity, because this was a whole new level. And she was just purple with rage. And she finally calmed herself down. I was laughing my butt off because I realized something was wrong here. I didn't know enough Spanish at the time. And she said, what were you trying to say? And he said, I like your hair. And he's very, sheepish, very timid. And by this point, and she said, no, es pelo. And, and she points her finger at him. And I'm sorry, my hands are full. But she said, you don't speak Spanish anymore. No more. And then she drove us home. So, that was, that joke made the whole rounds of the whole Metrolift yellow cab contingent, because we usually got the yellow cab, and the drivers were just in an uproar over that. And one kind of a bad thing I used to do, buenas noches, was Ron would be sitting in his wheelchair, and he needed the wheelchair because he had pain issues. If he stood up, he would if he tried to walk, he had weakness for one, and he had pain, because he had the back issues. His legs would hurt, I think. if I remember correctly, it was his legs were hurting because the nerve was pinching, and the eye. Oh, you're backing in. Okay. And the pain doctor got a look at his MRI eventually and said, buddy, you need a complete spinal reconstruction from top to tail. It's probably going to be a 2-year recovery. And Ron's like, oh, hell no. So, anyways, he had back issues, which kept him in the wheelchair, but he could stand. And he could walk a little most of the time. Last couple of years, he couldn't. The back got really bad. But after he had surgery, I'm not a fan of back surgery. Based on what I saw with Ron. So, I mean, if something's broken and you're definitely going to be paralyzed, well, yeah, go get it fixed. But, you know, if you're doing okay day to day like Ron was, don't have the surgery. So, anyway, so he would use the wheelchair to, like, travel. And then at home, he could generally walk around the house. No, I'd say about, most of, at the time I'm talking about, he could. And because it's a pretty small house, just a 2-bedroom, 900 square feet. And so anyways, I would do a bad thing. If it was a new driver, they would pull up and Ron would be sitting in his wheelchair. And I would stand behind him and I would put both my hands on his shoulders, one on each shoulder. And I would say, Ron. He'd say, yes, ma'am. I say, in the name of Jesus, get up. And he would rise to his feet. And once or twice a day, I was like, wow! And that's a terrible thing to do, to abuse a name like that. I'm sorry, Lord. But it was funny as hell to see these guys react. I mean, some of them were really just, you know, mind blown. They really, really thought they just witnessed something. But, you know, it didn't. So, anyway, so I told them the Rosa story on my way out. They got a good laugh, and that's probably going to be all over the store, but the dogs are up. So, and I did my henna. Yes, I did. See this fine bucket here? I brought gallon Ziplocs. Hi, pup. And it's me! You don't remember me! And I've decided that's the best way to react to aggressive neighbor dogs. And he's behind a fence. You know, he's just saying hello, I think. I don't think anybody talks to him. Hi, baby. So, no, passers-by talk to him. A lot of people out today. So, anyways, so I brought gallon Ziplocs, one inside the other. And I brought the box of the henna powder, which was dry, in the bag. And I brought the amla powder, which was dry and in the bag. And I brought a quart Ziploc for the amla. And I brought a couple of those binder clips. I'm a big, big fan of binder clips. You know, you can get them anywhere. Dollar Tree, Walmart, you know. And they really last a long time. I can't remember the last time I had a binder clip break on me. And I brought a bottle of vinegar. And the vinegar bottle had about a half cup of apple cider vinegar in it. And then the other day, I think I mentioned this in my cooking video, I brewed up some very strong black tea, which was like 4 or 5 tea bags. I mean, it was like 6 tea bags for a cup and a half of water. And I put it in the fridge. And then I mixed it together in the bottle when I brought it to work today. So it was already in the bottle. So I just basically put 2 tablespoons of the amla, the henna powder, which is about 150 grams, so about 5 ounces, in the Ziploc with the liquid and mix it up real good. And it has been percolating, and it'll be just at about 6 hours by the time I put it on tonight, and that'll be great because I like it at about 6 hours. I like the color it gives me. So I just need to get home and take a quick shower and wash my hair, and we'll see how it goes. But yeah. So anyways, I was off in the corner of the break room doing that. I didn't feel it was respectful to mix that stuff up at a table. I couldn't really smell anything, but it just didn't seem right, so I didn't. My neighbor has a nice water system going here, and so I did actually. I did it by the garbage can actually, and one of my friends was like, "What are you doing?" And I told her, she said, "Oh," and I showed her what it looked like. She said, "Oh, get red hair out of that." I'm like, "Yeah, I do." So that'll be good. And they had some treats on clearance for $1 a box. So I got a couple boxes to share with the drivers and one to share with the coworkers. And the bladder has woken up a block and a half from the house. So I just need to get going. Anyways, that's it.